Welcome back to Chase Field. Steve Berthiaume, Tom Candiotti, joined in our booth by our brand new Senior Vice President and General Manager Dave Stewart. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty good.
It sounds good to us. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What's today been like for you?
It's been a lot. I kind of designed my life after I retired from the game to kind of just be low-keyed. And, man,
that's over.
I think I've outdone myself.
You sure have. Well, we're glad to have you, and it's a big job for you. Tell us about the first time you talked with Tony La Russa about the possibility of becoming the general manager and how that process evolved.
Well, when it first came around, he had was more or less thinking about making a change, and once he got to a position where he knew he was going to make a change, he asked if I'd have any interest in it. And obviously at that time I was representing players which most of the kids that I represent, they're like kids to me. They're like my kids. I've had them since they were very young. Matt Kemp since he was 18, 19, Chad Billingsley the same, Chris Carter. I've had those kids all since they were young kids, and so obviously it was a lot to think about, and but I was very, very honored that he thought of me in this way.
Yeah, that's your agency you built, Sports Management Partners. You really did build that from the ground up, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I started a long time ago, 12 years ago, and my first client was a guy named Dewan Day that was a pitcher at Southern University that got a little major league service with the Chicago White Sox, and then the next guy that I got after Dewan Day was Eric Chavez.
Oh, we're familiar with him. That worked out pretty well.
Yes, it did. We ended up doing a deal with the Oakland A's, a 6-year, $66 million deal, and then my business just took off.
Now, how do you feel about, I mean, you had to leave that behind or hand it over to Dave Henderson, right, your partner?
Yes, I did.
Was that hard to do?
Well, difficult because of the ongoing dealings with the guys that I've grown to see as my children. And a lot of them I've given life guidance to. Matt Kemp, probably the closest of my clients. I'm involved in his everyday life.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think a lot of people don't understand that there's a lot more to just being an agent than just negotiating a contract.
Well,
and you know, there's the competitiveness to it, but also, you know, just making sure that, you know, the young guys really grow up the right way and understand how to play this game the right way.
If you do it right, if you do the business like it's supposed to be done, there's a whole lot more to it after the contract. And when you get guys at 17, 18, 19 years old, you're also helping them to be men and to understand the business of baseball, but to also understand life and how to carry yourself.
Well, a walk to Matt Adams here. He's now at second on a wild pitch and a 2-out count to Johnny Peralta. So you had this very successful business, a very impressive client list. Why take this job?
The challenge of building a championship. I've been a championship player, and then as a coach, I was able to be a part of a team that went to the World Series. Unfortunately, we were beaten by the Yankees, and so for me, you know, the day-to-day challenge of really putting together something that could be good, not just for 1 year, but for a long time, is what was impressive to me, along with the fact that Tony La Russa was here.
Why was that the difference maker? Or one of them, anyway.
Tony?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you've had an opportunity to be around him, he's a dynamic individual. We've shared a friendship past, my relationship with him as a player, and he had a vision. And
base hit for Peralta. They'll stop Adams at third.
He had a vision, and I believe that I can be a piece of making that vision come true.
And you are all very accomplished baseball professionals in all kinds of different areas. But one thing you all have in common now is you're all in new positions with new responsibilities and new challenges. What about that?
Well, I guess we're in a new position only from the sense that, you know, now we get an opportunity to push the buttons. But I think I can't speak for Tony. What I can do is I can speak for Dave Stewart. When I worked for the Toronto Blue Jays, I thought that I'd have an opportunity to do this job at that time, and I had a vision at that time for the Toronto Blue Jays. As an agent, I've watched baseball teams. I've watched what clubs do and how they do what they do. And so I've been a general manager of some sort for a long time, and today is just the day that it's happened.
Today, during your the news conference, you said you thought this opportunity had passed you by, the opportunity to be a GM. What was that like?
Well, like everything, at some point I knew my baseball career was going to be over, and I made the transition into, being a sports agent. Well, when I thought that time was over for me, I knew that I was going to have an opportunity to do something, and this is how it turned out. It turned out that I was going to be an agent. So I started that business, and I went after it as best I could, and I think I did some good things in the business. And so for me, this is refreshing that the circle has come back around, and I'm getting an opportunity to actually do what I wanted to do 12, 13, 14 years ago.
So what's next, Stu? What do we do here? What's the next order of business?
Well, what we've got to do with all organizations is we're going to make our foundation stronger, and so we're going to make our minor league system better. And as we're making our minor league system better, we're going to improve our major league club. And, I recognize all the things that you recognize with this baseball team. We need a front-end guy in our rotation, and we're going to work hard to make that happen. We need to play better baseball defensively, and we need to pitch better with the guys that we already have here. And if we can do those things, if we can be a better fundamental ball club, if we can pitch better and defend better, then we're going to have a chance. Obviously, we've got the goal right now to find a guy that can lead these players and make them better players on a day-to-day basis on the field. And we're going to try to fill that position of manager with a guy that's capable of leading these guys, with a guy that has vision, with a guy that can get it done.
Is there a timetable for that?
I said it in the press conference, and I'll say it again. It takes time to do things right. We as a group, we as a team, we're going to put together the best possible list that we can of candidates, and once we do that, I'm sure that we're going to find the right guy.
Well, Trevor Cahill got a double play behind him, and Matt Adams scored on the Molina ground out. He has walked Richik, and now Colton Wong steps in.
Well, despite having a couple walks and giving him a base hit, he got a big double play. And when he's locating well, he gets a lot of double plays.
Fly ball to left. Inciarte is there. Dave Stewart, new senior VP and general manager.